Today I want to talk to you about what's on my iPhone. Now I know that's a bit different from my usual topics, but I really enjoy watching these videos myself as I always learn something new and get inspired with some new apps and learn something from other people. And don't be worried, in case you don't have an iPhone, even though you should probably get one, most of those apps are also available on the Google Store, so you don't miss out. You can also download them to your Android or Samsung device. And if I cover every single one of them, it's probably going to take way too long, so I just want to highlight some of the ones I like the most that are a bit different and are centered around productivity, money and investing. With this, let's get started. Right, so it actually starts already with my home screen. I have my always on display and I really enjoy it because at a glance I can see already what's happening. You can see here how many steps I did. So far only 4,300, so I definitely gotta go for a walk afterwards. I have here my smart home overview. I can see all my lights are on. So even if I'm outside or on the road, I can always see the status of my apartment to see if the lights are on or off, so I can easily control them from remote, which is great. I can see the time and of course my next upcoming appointment. As you can see here, that's a very important one. So if you haven't done that yet, then I would really appreciate that. And then you can see here the big plus, and that's really great, and it takes me to one of my favorite apps, which is actually Things 3. So that's specifically for iPhone. So if you're an Android user, unfortunately they don't have it yet, but that's definitely my task manager of choice. So I can here from the lock screen immediately put my next to do and then enter it, assign it to a specific list that I have various personal, work, health, etc. And then boom, I won't forget about it. I can even do it through Siri without even having to pick up my phone. So that's really amazing. So once I open it up, you can see here my home screen. And I really put a lot of thought in it and it changed over the years. But now at the moment, I'm super happy with this. You can see I'm really started using some widgets. Before I never liked them because they take a lot of space away. But now I really force myself to use less apps on the home screen. For example, I'll show you in a second all my social media apps. I send them to the last screen, so I use them less on the go and really focus on productivity apps and the apps I really use the most on the home screen right here. And actually I see a lot of people using the home screen and not customizing it. They have all those stock apps that they don't really need, like a calculator or the camera app, which just doesn't make sense, or even leave space here. So I think it's very important that you utilize it because we all probably use way too much of our phone. So you want to make sure that you have everything at the closest fingertip that you can possibly have. So if I start over here to swipe to the left, you can see even some of my widgets that I have over here. So I can easily see the weather, what's coming up. I see my portfolio holdings, which, has seen better days in the past. But anyways, that's basically pulled from Yahoo Finance, where I track all my stocks, ETFs and crypto. And then here you can see once again my step counter, which is great. And I have over here all my battery status of my different devices, which is really cool. So even my AirPods, my case, etc., what I have, the status, if I have to charge something, that's really handy. And down here, I have my screen time trackers, how much time I spend on screen. That's really important to have. It's sometimes scary to look at it because you really think you would be spending less time on your device, but we probably spend way too much time on our devices. And then I also have a habit tracker, working on the business, exercising and reading. These are the 3 habits that I want to track as much as possible. Right, and that's basically all my widgets over here. And then you see the widgets on my lock screen. This starts with the Things app. So you can see here my 11 tasks for today, just a couple of them highlighted so they're in my face and I won't forget about them. I open it and I see all of them and I can then do whatever I have to do with those tasks. Then of course my stocks and crypto tracker, I can easily see how things are developing, how the market is going. So I have here all my favorite stocks and cryptos, so I can at a glance see what's happening in the markets. And then of course my calendar widget, so I can easily see what's the next upcoming calendar appointment. Then we come to the home app because I really started building up a smart home. It's all connected. I have Alexa, I have Siri, I have all my various smart home devices, and with this I can really control, and it's really amazing. When I wake up in the morning, now I start waking up at 6 a.m. all of a sudden all the lights go on, I get an inspirational quote, the music starts playing, so you're definitely not going to be snoozing anymore at all. And I have also different scenes over here. When I go to bed, I just click good night or say to Siri good night and all the lights turn off. If I want to work, I get more brighter light, I can concentrate better, and that's really amazing. If I want it in the evening, more cozy to watch a movie, I click on that, all the lights dim down, and it's just amazing. And I want to be adding more and more devices to this in the future. Everything becomes smart and more automated. So that's really, really cool. I could do a whole video about that, but I'll leave it at that. Then another app I really love, it's Notion. You probably heard about Notion if you've been on YouTube. So many people talked about Notion and I only scratched the surface. I could use it so much more, and at times I think it's overwhelming. However, especially for YouTube, to track my workouts, subscriptions, and now also starting my wedding planning, I really love it because it offers so much customization. You really can do anything with it that you want. For example, when I go to ideas, I have here like a Kanban board, so it's almost like Trello, and you can have templates, and it's just amazing how many different options it offers. It's free, so definitely if if you haven't tried it yet, give it a go. Then of course my Notes app, that's really my note-taking app of choice. I have different categories, so whenever I start a new note, it goes into my notes folder, and then later on I would classify it wherever it should go. But yeah, it's super easy. I tried so many different ones, but that's just the fastest one that syncs immediately with the cloud, with my MacBook, and it just works, right? So why to reinvent the wheel? With this I can also take pictures of documents, and it immediately will scan it as a PDF into my Notes app. It's searchable, and it really makes sense to use the native free app for that. Then of course nothing beats Google Calendar and Gmail. I have so many different accounts, so I really love Gmail on the phone. For me, much better than Outlook or iCloud account, but you know, that's very subjective, but I really love Gmail. Then for my team communication at my work, I use Slack, and I really start enjoying it because actually it reduces so many unnecessary emails. You can have a quick chat with somebody at your work. You can have threads by work topics. Slack is definitely a great tool to give a go. Then, of course, one of my favorite apps, how else could it be? YouTube. And honestly, guys, you will see I have YouTube Premium over here. And if you haven't tried YouTube Premium yet, for me, it's worth the 10 euros I believe I pay every single month. I would rather have YouTube Premium than Netflix, honestly speaking, because I watch so much of YouTube. So saving all these ad breaks really saves me a lot of time. And yeah, I can even listen to it in the background like a podcast. So if I have a long video that I want to watch, but I don't necessarily have the time to sit down, I just want to hear it in the gym, let's say, I can actually close my iPhone and still listen to it. If you have the free YouTube version, you can't actually do this. So that's a huge benefit for me and such a time saver. And yeah, I honestly love it. I spend most of my time on YouTube, more than any other social media platform, plus even Netflix, etc. So for me, it's truly worth the money. Then of course, the YouTube Studio app, where I track all my analytics subscribers. It's an app I probably should be using way less because I check it so many times a day to see if there's a new subscriber. So yeah, but I guess every YouTuber can relate to that. Then my favorite podcast app of choice is Pocket Casts, and if you haven't tried it yet, honestly, it's super nice. It used to be charged, I think now it's free. I mean, there's so many different apps out there, but for me, it's just the easiest, cleanest, nice overview. And you can see I'm a really avid podcast listener. I have quite a number of them that I listen to on a regular basis. And yeah, it's just super simple to use and really enjoy it. And then of course Revolut, which is right now my main banking app of choice. I actually use the Revolut Pro account. With this, I get 1% cashback on every transaction. And as you can see over here, last month I already got 14 euros cashback, which is amazing, and I really enjoy it. And then down here, I have the phone app. Yes, I actually use my phone to call people sometimes, believe it or not. Then for messaging, I use mostly WhatsApp because not everybody has iMessage. That's why I still tend to use WhatsApp. A lot of people use it. It's not my favorite, but it's just most people use it. So that's why I have it here. Then for browsing, I use, of course, Safari, which is of course very popular and privacy oriented. And my music player of choice is Spotify. Yes, I should be using Apple Music as I love everything Apple, but actually Spotify, to be honest, probably beats Apple hands down, at least in my opinion. If you disagree, let me know in the comments below. Then before we go to the second page, actually I want to show you my control center because that's also something I see a lot of people not really utilizing. If you swipe down here, you can see quite a few things that you can customize, and a lot of people are not using it. For example, having your Shazam right here, it's amazing. I can click that button and immediately know what song is playing. I can click the voice memo and immediately record a conversation. I can have access to my Apple TV remote right here by clicking that button. Calculator, low power mode, the torch which I use in night, my camera, and that's why I said don't have a camera app on your home screen, instead use that button, and screen recording of my iPhone down here. And as you can see right now, I also have a focus mode on, which is called YouTube. By having that on, my lights in the back turn the color they are right now, and it turns off all the notifications so nobody can call me, etc. So I'm not getting interrupted. So that's really cool. And once I'm done, I click that button and everything goes back to normal and I'm reachable again. So that's also something really powerful to utilize focus modes. So with this, let's go to the second page. Authy is actually a great app for two-factor authentication. I used to use Google for that. That's great until you move to another phone. It was really difficult to migrate. Here, you can have an account, set it up to a new phone, and then delete that one. Much easier. So honestly, I much prefer Authy. And for password management, honestly, hands down, nothing beats 1Password. It's just my absolute favorite, and it's 2 euros per month, I think, but it's totally worth it. And I just feel so safe with them. It stores all my passwords, so whenever I have a new device, etc., it's such a breeze to migrate to a new device because with one click of a button, all my accounts are there, all my passwords are there. It's just super easy. I've been using it for a number of years now. Then at the bottom, you can see close to my thumb, that's also important that you have the ones that you use the most, down the bottom, because obviously it's easier to get to. So starting with Curve app is the app of my choice where I have all my cards in it. Basically, that card is one single card that you use, and there I can have different cards attached to it. So I can have another 3, 4, 5 credit cards, and let's say I want to make a payment for specific transactions where I get more loyalty points or more cashback rewards with a certain card with a click of a button, and boom, right now I will be using that card, even though I still use the same credit card number of my Curve card. So I don't every time have to update everything online, and it just makes things so much easier. Plus, by using it, I get an additional 1% cashback on the transaction. So that's really amazing. So let's say I'm done with that card for the transaction. I want to make another transaction with another card or my work card. Let's imagine that's my work card. So I could just click that and boom, still use the same card, but actually at the background have a different card doing the transaction. And the great thing is, at the same time, in my money, I can have all the various transactions consolidated into one, because sometimes we have so many cards and we don't really know at the end of the month how much did we actually spend. And by doing that, I have analytics for all my cards, for single cards. So it's really, really good to get an overview of how much you actually ended up spending in a particular month. And you can see over here how much cashback I got. So far this month, I used already £10 worth of cashback. I got another 17, so that's £17 worth of cashback that I actually got in the first, 7 days of the month. So that's really, really amazing. Then another app I started really liking, I'll soon do a deep dive tutorial, but it's quickly becoming one of my favorite stock purchasing app, and it's called Lightyear, but I'll make a separate video on this. Next up we have Nexo Wallet, which I covered in many videos. It absolutely used to be my favorite crypto exchange, and I had their crypto card from Nexo, and it's just amazing. I still love it, just obviously the situation we're in right now. I pulled all my holdings into my Ledger wallet to be safe, but yeah, this used to be the app I used for everything. You can see here the interest I earned by using the app, $740, which is amazing. And if I go into the cashback earned by using the card, I have $518 just by using it in terms of cashback. So really, really amazing. And I hope to soon send some of my money back. But right now I'm just being a bit more cautious and seeing how the market unfolds. Then I have my local bank account, of course. And over here I have my Bondora Go and Grow. That's basically P2P lending platform based in Estonia. You can see how much money I've added, 6,000 euros, and I made from it 233 euros. So if I go into my statement, you can see here that I'm getting paid every single day right now €1.12. So every month I'm adding 400 euros, which is currently the maximum you can add. And then that amount will increase over time. But the good thing is it's paid to me daily, and I can also withdraw daily. So there's no lockup period. So if I want the money right away, I can send out all the amount that I have here, the 6,000 something, and have it in my bank account next day. Otherwise, I will continue getting 6.5% interest per year paid to me daily. And actually looking at 2022 has been my best investment, because it's only going up compared to my stocks and crypto, which unfortunately haven't. Then Wise is another amazing app if you want to do international transfers at very low cost. It probably has some of the lowest transfer fees in line with Revolut, so I always compare which is better, but quite often TransferWise does end up better. And yeah, it's really an amazing app that I also recommend you. Then I have my finance folder down here, and you can see quite a number of apps I have. My interactive broker account where I have my stocks and ETFs which I trade. My Ledger account, of course. You can see here all my Ledger holdings right now. Crypto.com, which I used to have but not anymore. My coin market tracker, which is great. XE, which is always very handy, especially once you travel. Okay, you go to the UK, so I want to see how much is £1 in euros, so I know it's 1.13. So that always gives a good indication of how much something costs. And then here a couple more that I use quite regularly. And then we move already to the last page. So here I have mostly folders, because otherwise I would be having 6-7 screens, and that's just too many to go through. I like to keep it nice and clean, and also delete apps that I don't use anymore. So here I have transportation, all my different apps to get around. And it's funny, for driving I always use Waze, because it just finds the quickest and easiest way. For navigating my way around the city, I use Google Maps, because it finds the most things. And then to actually walk around the city, I use Apple Maps, because it's actually the best one. Once you have your screen closed, you can still see the directions on the screen without having to unlock it, which you can't with Google Maps. So it's really funny. I always need to use those 3 different apps for that. For travel, something I really recommend is the Nomad app. That's basically an eSIM. So more and more phones are getting eSIM support. So you don't actually have to go to another country and then buy a physical SIM, take out the old SIM, put the new SIM. So here you can actually buy it online wherever you are. In most countries they offer eSIMs. You just buy the SIM card and you get the SIM card electronically on your phone, and with the click of a button you basically have a SIM card in whatever country you go to. And that's often cheaper and easier than having to go to a physical store. So as you can see, I bought some previously for the UK in eSIM, you know, how much data, etc. So it was a couple of pounds, much cheaper than when I went to the store, and I could easily buy some more if I wanted to from, you can see here, different destinations, etc. And then here another important one that I use very much is ExpressVPN. Especially when I travel, it's my favorite VPN that I use to change my IP address and basically the country where I'm surfing from, plus protect my identity. Because especially when you go, you know, in airports or hotels, people can actually crack your connection and see where you're surfing, take your passwords. So being connected to a VPN definitely increases your security. So I could click here, for example, Germany, and boom, immediately now when I go to Google, it thinks I'm from Germany and shows me German pages or German news. Or even if I want to watch Netflix in the US, I could use a US server and watch Netflix in the US. So I really enjoyed it. And another very important app, yes, you guessed it, is F1 TV. Now, any Formula 1 fans here, let me know in the comments which is your favorite driver. But this is definitely, once the new season starts, one of my favorite apps to use and follow the races. And lastly, you can see here on the last page of my phone, I have only my social media accounts and apps. And actually by putting them on the last page, I definitely started using them much less, because if they're on my front page, I see them all the time and just a click away. Now I have to swipe, then open, go back. And honestly, it seems like such a small change, but trust me, I can see on my screen time how much less I started using those apps. And for me, it actually really makes me happy, because my goal is to use less social media, except of course for YouTube. But those apps are mostly only used when I'm bored, and then you start going down the rabbit hole, especially TikTok. I mean, it's like a black hole. You open the app and then half an hour later, you'd wonder, where did the time go, right? So I was actually thinking about deleting them, but I do understand that I want to be connected with the people, follow certain things and people and accounts. So yes, I don't want to delete them completely, but definitely I won't use them less. So putting that on the last page is something I really recommend you. And there you have it, guys. I hope you found it useful and maybe found a new app for you to try. And if you have a recommendation for me to give a go, then please let me know in the comments which app I should check out. I'm always happy to learn and try new things. As always, thank you so much for watching. Stay healthy, get wealthy, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.